Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the vlog. And it's been, well, from your point of view, we've had 3 days now of videos, but from my point of view, it's been quite a while because I haven't actually edited the two that you're about to see yet. It's part of what I have to do today. But after a load of family issues that I couldn't possibly go into because it's not my story to tell, and some of it's already still ongoing, so I've got to wait for that, I had to take a break, and it was just one of those things. But we're back now, and I'm happy to be back. So we've had a couple of days of travelling. Before that, I'd been up northeast to see my family. And as Jen would say, recharge the batteries by going to the homeland. But also, it's good to be back. I'm happy to be back talking to you guys and talking about what we're doing here in the game room for the game preservation. Now, you might notice I've got what I've got here called stock tapes. These are old cassettes. Various sizes, various qualities, but it's what I used to keep my public domain stuff on for my public domain library before I got my disk drive, and before I could afford extra discs for it as well. So I want to talk to you about the adventure games that I wrote as a kid. So I've got one here, The Guild of Hermits. What is it? I can't remember. I know I made it, and I thought it was a pretty big deal because in the little fanzines that I used to make, Block 9 and things, there were adverts for this, The Guild of Hermits. So I'm going to have a look at that later on. Pretty sure it's my biggest text adventure that I ever made in multiple parts. So that'll be interesting to see. I want to try and copy it over onto the computer because I've got somewhere around here, there it is, it's in one of the drawers, an old cassette player. And if I open it up, you just slide a cassette in. It's almost the same size as the cassette itself. It's really small, but it should be decent enough that I can port the data from the tape onto the Mac and then make a downloadable copy of the WAV file. I'll probably try and get CDT format. I can copy it over to a PC and use the WAV to CDT programs that aren't available on Mac, weirdly enough. So we'll see what I can do for that. If I can get it to work, then that's great. Now, I know that I can transfer data off this cassette because I have used this with some actual commercially released games to load into the Amstrad just by sticking the, you know that CD to tape adapter that you used to be able to get for cars before CDs were a big thing in cars? Well, I've got a few of those, and I've tried it, and I've loaded games. So it should be possible to take the data off this and put it onto the computer. So that's what I want to do. So we've got the Guild of Hermits. I believe this is stock tape 2. This may have been my very first text adventure that I ever made. It's called The Quest. I cannot remember a thing about it except there's a maze in this that I didn't intend to create as a maze, but I ended up programming it wrong, so it ended up being a maze. And I was quite proud of that at the time. And another one called Treasure Hunt. I'm assuming you hunt for some treasure. Don't know a huge amount about these. There's another one on stock tape 8 where it's just called Merlin. And I vaguely remember that you're on a quest for Merlin to become the next Merlin. Apparently, at the time I decided Merlin was a title instead of a person. So that's decent. This one's fun. Nob's Excellent Adventure. Now this is a time travel thing, taking a lot of inspiration from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, but using my webcomic character, Nob T. Mouse. This is before the webcomic started, but the character was already there, so that'll be fun. And then actually two that I do remember from stock tape 6, Treble N. Now this was my attempt. I'd read about a game called the Lurking Horror, which was set in modern day on a university campus. Well, I was also into a lot of cyberpunk at the time, so I decided, what if I could do a kind of modern day cyberpunk adventure where you've got to take down this evil corporation, the Treble N, and I cannot remember what the N stood for. It was 3 different things, and it was N, 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 and so the game was called Treble N. But it's a cyberpunk game about taking down a corporation in a cyberpunk style, and I was really proud of it at the time, but I remember coming back to it after I got the Amstrad back out of the attic for the first time and playing it, and it was so badly written that if this does work, I'll be taking the inspiration from it and rewriting the game entirely. And to that point, I'm actually going to make it as a PC game this time because I recently got, it was on sale on Steam, an updated RPG maker that works on Mac and can create games for Mac as well as PC. So we're going to update as a live game coding, if I can get it to work, and it's a big if, Treble N as a modern game. So that'll be fun. And then my other one is Time Adventure. That was a fun one. A real fun game at the time. It's a time travel adventure. You go back and forward in time, and if you do something in the past, it allows you to go into the second bit in the future and stuff like that. It was an episodic game. Before episodic games were a thing, and the reason it was episodic was simply because that way the data would fit. So that was a lot of fun, but they aren't the only things I've got. I'm going to be spending most of the day transferring this data if I can and seeing if it works. I can't guarantee it's going to work, but if it does, that's cool. So that was fun, and it's not the only stuff I've been picking up because I have been collecting some more stuff for the collection. So let's start with Xbox Music Mixer. Now, this is one that I did pick up before. It was NTSC format though, but this one is PAL. It's actually, let's think. Where is it for? It's English. That looks like Finland and Sweden. So that's interesting, but no manual. However, the NTSC version I didn't send back because I thought, well, it's got a manual and it's all decent condition, so I might as well keep it. I'm glad I did because that one doesn't have a manual, so this way I can work out what's going on. But the reason I picked this particular version up, even though it didn't have a manual, is because it came with the microphone. And this is hard to pass up, really, because that's not any old microphone. That one goes into the controller itself. So you can't really do it with that controller. The Xbox controllers are all in the corner. You plug it into the controller itself rather than the machine. So that's cool. And that's why I went for it, even though it had no manual. Now here's one that I didn't know existed until I saw, I believe it's DJ Slope with Slope's Game Room, talking about a load of games that you wouldn't expect to have film tie-ins and then games based on the film tie-in. This is Autobahn Racer, Das Spiel zum Film. Basically, Autobahn Racer, the game of the film. And from what I could tell, it's like a cross between a Carry-On film, Cannonball Run, and Need for Speed or The Fast and the Furious. Which is weird. But it's based on, like, you know, the games London Racer, Autobahn Racer and all that. They're all basically the same thing. But this is a film that based on that series, which then got a game, and I'm not sure it's by the same people. It certainly looks a bit different to the games that I remember, because they were quite low budget. Speaking of games that are quite low budget, Club Football 2005 for Celtic, which I'm finally happy to say I've got, because it was hard to get. I've been tracking this one down for a long time. Manual and all the extras are here, but weirdly enough, they've sent me the manual and the extras twice. Actually, no, they haven't sent me the manual twice. They've sent me the extras twice. Yeah. I've got 2 sets of extras and 1 manual. Bit weird, but I'll put these into something else later on because, let's face it, I don't need 2 copies when there shouldn't be 2 copies in the thing. So, there we are. Finally got one of the Celtic club footballs that I've been looking for ages, which means that I'm down now to the foreign ones. Juventus, Inter Milan, and one other I can't remember whether it's the 2003 editions or the 2005 editions I need, but they're all out there still. Hard to get though. Not a great amount of them available, so I've got alerts on eBay and CEX and stuff like that to try and find them so I can finish the club football set. We are so close. Speaking of sets to complete, Dancing Stage Unleashed 3 for the Xbox. Jen kept asking me, haven't you got this? And like, no, I've got 1 and 2. 3 is hard to find, but finally got a copy because I had an alert on CEX. It came in great condition. The alert came in at about 7:30 in the morning. I had it ordered by 8 and it was in the post by 10. So, pretty efficient. Can't say no to that. Now here's one that is not by me. I didn't pick this up. Patrick sent it to me. He found it in the back room of a charity shop. They were going to throw it away rather than sell it because it wasn't in English. And this upsets me a lot because this stuff's hard to get, and just because it doesn't say it's English on the front, but it plays in English. It's Franklin, una sorpresa de cumpleaños. Franklin, una sorpresa de cumpleaños. It's Spanish. I'm pretty sure it's Spanish because it's got the tilde over the ends, and that's usually Spanish, isn't it? Yeah, like El Nino, El Niña, the things like that. That's how I remember Spanish. So yeah, característica clave, juega con Franklin en esta exciante aventura para los más jóvenes. Los más jóvenes, I don't know. I don't speak Spanish. I speak English, a little bit of Latin, reasonable amount of French, a little bit of German, a little bit of Italian, a little bit of Japanese, reasonable amount of Klingon, but not Spanish. I never got around to Spanish. However, I really should have a look into Spanish because for the last few years, a huge amount of new Amstrad games have been coming out in Spain because of the Amstrad Eterno competition and the fact that there's a teacher at I believe he's at the University of Barcelona who has been teaching coding for computers using an 8-bit system in Amstrad. And the idea being that if you can program right from the basics and learn how this was done, that transferable skill goes everywhere. And because it has such a limited amount of memory and limited amount of resources, you learn how to make the best use of the system rather than just saying, oh, we'll up the system requirements, that kind of thing. So it's a great idea. And he's been putting out all of these competitions that have got us a load of great games, but most of them in Spanish. So I thought, probably about time I learnt Spanish. Never have, though. Wild Arms 4. How good is this? This is one that Jen got me as a present because I've been working so hard, and she thought I needed cheering up, and it worked. So, Wild Arms 4, I'm really looking forward to. The Wild Arms series is amazing. Really is amazing. But that's not the all. Bushingai Swordmaster. This thing is hard to get. And it's like a samurai action-adventure, but in a modern style. Rather cool. Looking very much forward to giving this a try. Get a taste of revenge with Bushingai Swordmaster! And it's got a manual, so we can find out what's going on. That's really cool. But then, I treated myself as well, because I have been working pretty hard. This came up as, it's just come in. Have a look. Sylphid, The Lost Planet. Now this is my kind of game, because look at that. That is a vertically scrolling, bullet hell style shooter. And I am so there for that kind of game. I am looking forward to playing this. I've got my arcade stick out, ready. We're going to have a try of that on an upcoming Game Hammer Live as well. But that's not all, because, well, while I was there, I picked up Goldeneye Remastered, remade on the Wii. Everything here, great condition. Really looking forward to playing this. I know for a fact this is hard as hell, from my point of view, because I played it. I got my dad a copy when it came out, because he's a big James Bond fan, and we couldn't get very far in it. We were both rather tipsy because it was Christmas, but we couldn't get very far in it. But I'm looking forward to it. And last but not least, as pickups go, Railway Empires, which I was hoping would be like Railroad Tycoon 2. It certainly looks like it's an Xbox version of Railroad Tycoon 2. However, it has one major issue. The text on it is tiny. So we have a 40-odd-inch television in our lounge with the Xbox One plugged into it. It's what we use for watching films and all sorts. I put that onto there, and this 40-odd-inch screen, when I was sat on my sofa, I couldn't read the text on it. That's how small it is. I normally have no problem reading the text in games on that screen from my usual sofa vantage point. Just how it is. So I think it's one of those where if I can't work out how to make the text larger, hopefully there's an accessibility option with that, then I'm going to have to sit really close just to play the game. That's not great. Guys, if you're programming these games, remember that when you're sat this far from a screen, that's not how we play the games. We sit on our sofas a little bit further back. Please make the text readable. Anyway, that's what I've got for... Oh, no, that's not all, because there was a guy on... I believe it was the Amstrad CPC Facebook group, which is a great thing if you're into Amstrads, said, I've got all these old games I found in my attic, and I'm selling them off. Anyone want any? So I got myself a copy of Jack and the Beanstalk. This is a really old one. What year is it from? 1984. So this is like the first year of Amstrad. And it's so early that it doesn't even have the name of the game on the side, which is how I got interested in the first place. I asked him, what's that one that just says it's for Amstrads? He says, I don't know, I'll go and have a look. And it was Jack and the Beanstalk, which I remember from when I was doing one of the early episodes of CPC, the Amstrad CPC video game magazine, which is like my documentary covering all of the life of the CPC. Still ongoing. I am going to be doing more episodes. So I thought, well, I've got to try that. It looks a bit odd. There's a screenshot on the back, which isn't great. It's just blue and yellow, which is a bit odd. But I need to see how it plays, because I kind of remember it from that CPC and it's not been too bad. So I got myself a copy. It's only a couple of quid. Like, yeah, sure, I'll pick it up for that. And then last but not least, I have this on Rare Replay, and I enjoyed it, but I wanted to play it on the original N64. So, Force Gemini! Very happy to add this. I should really take the sticker off the back of this. Oh look, it's coming apart. CEX changed their stickers so things don't come on and off quite as easily as they used to. But I'm going to look forward to playing that because I know it'll be fun. Right guys, I better get on because I've got all those games to transfer off tape. It's going to take a fair amount of time. Last night we had the first part of the Question of Trek film that I've been making. I'm working really hard on that in the time that I wasn't dealing with the family issues or editing videos for Jen's channel. And it's been a lot of fun to make, but my goodness, it's been hard work. However, it went down really well last night. I'm looking forward to everyone seeing the conclusion, so that's going to be fun. But that's really all I've got for you today. It's a bit of a catch-up video and covering what I've been doing. I hope that tomorrow we'll have something fun. See you later. We've got the Monday Club later tonight from my point of view, but by the time you see this, it'll be over. But I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Bye for now. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk-Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey 82, Mo Henry, and George Botterini. Thank you so much, guys.